Shonen Jump is dying. This giant of the manga industry will fail and fade into obscurity unless things change. From exploited and overworked mangakas to fostering false hope and crashing dreams to canceling promising series in favor of what's easy. When will this industry improve for the better? And is it too late? Shonen Jump is as iconic as Blockbuster, Circuit City, Radio Shack, and even Toys R Us, having humble beginnings in 1968. Unlike the others mentioned, it has managed to remain relevant, competent, and a staple in its industry. Unfortunately, this fame doesn't come without a few kinks in the armor, of course. It rose to being one of the main authorities in manga publishing. From old series like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Case Closed, and even Shaman King, to more modern titans like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Naruto, Shonen Jump has been the distributor to bring classics to the world. From that fame, many have sought a place amongst the stars. Those of us who've watched anime on Cartoon Network, watched our favorites on early streaming sites, or even read the manga chapters religiously, we grew fond of this medium very quickly. There wasn't a day or week we missed the latest episode of Naruto, or forget the feeling of seeing Goku turn Super Saiyan for the first time. These have been seared into our brains as kids and remain to this day. Is it so crazy then to believe that many of us dream of having our own chance to create those feelings, to get our series published and adapted for all to love and marvel? That's the thing though. Shonen Jump unsurprisingly receives over 1,000 manga submissions a year. Those submissions can come through the site itself, through outside agencies, or even through contests that are held for the talented and upcoming mangakas. Therefore, there will always be an influx of hopeful artists, but Shonen Jump made a misstep along the way. Now picture this. You've been in the lab, slaving away to create a series worthy of all your love and attention and affection, and on a cold winter's night, you gather the courage to submit your series to Shonen Jump. You're hopeful, expectant, to only then receive the news that is not what they were looking for. You close your laptop, you stare out the window as tears streak down your face. Sad scene, right? It's probably accurate, and many have been disappointed by this publishing giant before. Still, rejection isn't the end of the road, my friends. Some series that we love today were denied entry to those hallowed halls, such as Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and even Promised Neverland were initially rejected. For instance, Attack on Titan's author was rejected due to refusing to change the art style. Despite this setback, Attack on Titan became one of the cornerstone series of the last few years. That, in itself, may produce some hope, but not enough to live off of, my friends. This life, for lack of better verbiage, is not for the weak. It may not seem like it at first glance, but being a mangaka can be detrimental to your health. Why? Those who have blasted past the barriers of entry into Shonen Jump are not safe from danger. Instead, they have to contend with a new wolf in sheep clothing. Results: Shonen Jump is a magazine that is split into other magazines based solely on the release schedule, name, and genres for the most part. The main magazine that we'll be talking about for this video has a weekly release schedule, while others have a bi-weekly, monthly, or seasonal release schedule. The weekly release requires an iron will, dedication, and a lot of Advil. Mangakas are constantly faced with physical and mental health complications. Many fans of One Piece are familiar with the frequency of breaks and health complications from Oda. This happens often, and unfortunately can lead to fatal results. Moments like these shine a light on these dangerous conditions, but has anything really changed for the better? For some, their series is moved to another magazine with a less demanding schedule. Black Clover, another series, a personal favorite of mine, was originally in the weekly Shonen Jump, but as of late 2023, was moved to Jump Giga. This is a seasonal magazine that, with a longer time frame for publication, gives more freedom and less pressure to produce. While this seems good on the surface, mangakas shouldn't be pushed to this state in the first place. Now, picture this. I love pictures. You've been working on your series for a full year, working hard, slaving away. You've garnered a following of fans and you feel like you finally made it. While at your desk, though, you are told to cancel your series, your life's work, based on low sales, low ratings, or your health. You could have nearly died from producing weekly content just for all your work to go up in smoke and end up in the Shonen Jump archives. Now, there are some who believe some authors are treated better. For instance, a series that stopped for over a year was called Ruri Dragon. Due to some health concerns of the author, a hiatus was started for this series. Now, a hiatus may last a month or 3, but Ruri Dragon was on a 20-month hiatus. I recall reading it and seeing that it wasn't being updated suddenly. Then it just appeared out of nowhere. Literally, I felt jilted. That's just me. I'm just trying to be honest. This series was popular, but I was frustrated because it disappeared and then was allowed to remain in the main magazine, despite not being updated for over a year. Now, many of us forgot it even existed, but it wasn't cut because of its popularity, the publisher's investment into the series, and reader loyalty. This was garnered only with 6 chapters being released. Yet we have a list of various series being cut before gaining potential popularity and growth. This could make some feel cheated or unfairly cut, but this is exactly what will be Shonen Jump's downfall. Shonen Jump, for many of us, is the magazine we go to for our weekly reading. However, this giant of industry is shooting itself literally in the foot by canceling series way too soon. For example, I love examples, Shonen Jump in the past 5 years has canned about 37 series. That may seem small, but consider the layers you have to penetrate to get your work into Shonen Jump. Work for them, putting your health and life on the line just for it to get canned a few months later. Now, when I say canned, I mean a series that was forced to end despite having more room to grow. Where the ending feels rushed and unsatisfying, it's clear that it's been canceled. Now, of the canceled series within the past 5 years, those include, in year 2020, it was Zip Man, Guardian of Witch, Time Paradox Ghost Rider. For 2021, we have Niru, Way of the Martial Artist, Hunter's Guild Red Hood, which the author does have another series, Candy Flurry, 9 Dragons Ball Parade, ITEL C, Build King, Our Blood Oath, possibly, Phantom Seer, Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin, that one's hard to say for whatever reason, A Gravity Boys. For 2022, we have Aliens Area, Super Smartphone, Earthchild, Doran Dororon, Protect Me Shigomaru, Ai Shimon, Magu-chan, God of Destruction. In 2023, we had Tenmaku Cinema, Fabricant 100, Ichigoki's Under Control, Ginka and Gluna, Tokyo Demon Bride Story, PPP, High School Family. In 2024, we had Psych House, so Kyokuto Necromance, Dear Anemone, Shadow Eliminators, Greens, Mama Yuya, Martial Art Master Asumi, and Cypher Academy. And for 2025 was Hakutaku and Astro Royale. That's 37 authors whose series had to be canceled. Some of these I've read frequently, like Red Hood, Doron, Candy Flurry, and Aliens Area. I had high hopes for these series and assumed they would grow into titans of the industry. Now, I am going to be honest here. I do recall saying in my brain that certain series like ITLC and Super Smartphone may not do that well. Yet I still felt there could have been an audience for those. They just weren't the series for me personally. But the problems don't just stop there. Let's look at 3 other problems facing this magazine. Number 1, other magazines and genres are taking the spotlight. We've seen how, as of late, the surge of manhwa popularity. Thanks to the epic adaptation of Solo Leveling, many foam at the mouth for a new season of Solo Leveling. I am one of those. Many have forgotten series like Dragon Ball, Naruto in favor of something new and fresh. I am one of those. I read Solo Leveling with other manhwa like My Daughter is the Final Boss, Pick Me Up, and Omniscient Reader. I find more to read on other sites than Shonen Jump. Heck, Weekly Shonen magazine is published by Kodansha, and it houses series like Vinland Saga, Fire Force, Blue Lock, To Your Eternity, Fairy Tail, and so on. Series that have their own popularity and garnered fame through anime adaptations. Shonen Jump isn't the biggest fish in the pond anymore when competition is arising from the depths. Problem number 2. Weekly releases are putting pressure and strain on the mangaka and will eventually affect the quality of their series. Let's be honest. After hearing the horrors that mangakas go through, it makes wanting this job less and less desirable. Imagine working where you have to produce results week after week, and that can have both physical and mental ramifications. Those who suffer from ailments are forced to take breaks, and that can either help their series or hurt their series, depending on how long the break is and the quality of work that follows after that break. In the long term, a less demanding schedule would be more beneficial for those in this industry. Problem number 3. Flagship series are ending one after another and will eventually lose their popularity. It would be an understatement to say that many of our beloved series have vanished with the wind. Back then, we enjoyed Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, The Promised Neverland, Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, and so much more. And yet, much like our prospects for happiness, they've gone. Ended with a little bow on top for us to marvel at from afar. Now some, like Dragon Ball and Naruto, continue to hang around, but it's not the same as we once knew it to be. That long list of series kept us glued to the Shonen Jump every single week, waiting for the latest and greatest chapter. All that remains are sequels to Naruto and Dragon Ball. One Piece hasn't ended yet, and possibly Hunter x Hunter if it comes out of hiatus. Regardless, there's an epidemic among newer series, where series that aren't acts just have a shorter runtime. In recent years, we've had Kaiju number 8, a very popular series that only ran for 5 years and hit chapter 129. Jujutsu Kaisen ran for 6.5 years, and My Hero Academia concluded literally last year. Even the up-and-coming Undead and Unluck ran for only 5 years. Now that may seem long for some, however, of the old big 3, Naruto ran for 15 years, Bleach ran for 15 years too, heck, even the original Dragon Ball ran for 11 years, and One Piece is still going since it began in 1997. Currently, the main headliners have yet to reach this longevity, but this could be a result of mangakas not wanting to create for this long, or the demand for certain genres are just disappearing. The point is, the popularity that once garnered our attention weekly is waning as flagship series are fading one after another. I find myself reading Shonen Jump less and less because many of my favorites have concluded. Newer ones I enjoy eventually close up shop, and I'm finding more exciting series in other magazines and sources. Anime adaptations are great and increase a series' longevity. However, even that must end at some point. As the series become less and less exciting, as series are given less room to grow, as mangakas are worked to death, and as competition continues to rise, Shonen Jump may not be the giant it once was. Its prestige could fade, and we'd have to think about a world without it. It's much like a world without our favorite original mangas or shows. A sad reality, but one we may have to face if things aren't made better for the fans, the mangakas, the workers, and the overall industry. Thanks for tuning in to this program. As we enter a new year, new series will be popping up left and right. Yet we have to remember that the series we enjoy has someone on the other end working with joy or fear. Shonen Jump has been a staple in our lives for so long, but careless actions and unrealistic expectations can lead to a world where they are no longer relevant, like Blockbuster or Circuit City. Still, it's good to be realistic about these things as the world changes, our tastes change, and our love for manga and anime remains. Comment what you think about this industry and what series were cut way before their time. Make sure to like, subscribe if you like this type of content, and until next time, keep reading.